Oh, so it switches. It just switches to the settings. That's what's up. So
Peace and infinite blessing to everybody who's here.
peace, love, and prosperity. Peace, infinite blessings, prosperity, love, and all that. What's up?
So the objective of today's live, you mind pulling the questions up on my
Yeah,
screen?
no problem.
Thank
It'll
you.
be on your side.
Yes, sir.
Will it? It will be.
So today's live will be about the yin and yang of life and how it has both sides to it.
I'm gonna close this thing. The air conditioner's loud.
Yes, sir. I
Peace.
got you.
Hold on a second. You can go ahead and talk.
Yes, sir. No problem. So yeah, life has its ups and downs, and you have to ride with both, whether you want to accept it or not. When you realize that you can't escape what's coming regardless because it's already written out for you, you just got to learn how to accept everything. It goes like this. While life's going like this, you have to go like that, like just straight. Because one thing about it, yeah, sure, life will throw some things away that will definitely affect you. But one thing for sure, everything that comes your way is a test, and it's testing to see if you're actually worthy of whatever is coming up next. It's done that for me in very interesting ways, and you can definitely not pass the test. You can definitely not pass the test and have to redo it. I've had to do that in some instances where I bump my head making the same mistakes over and over again and having to face the same thing because I didn't allow it to be heard. The lesson wasn't learned the first time, and I had to learn it even harder, doing it over and over again in some instances. But one thing for sure that I'm grateful for is the ups and downs of life because like people, experiences, the things that happen, the and even life's experiences themselves. One thing for sure, we all know that we had experiences that were not the best, but we also know we've had experiences that were just like the absolute best. And the best thing we could do is hang on to. We can let know that good experiences exist just based upon the good experience you have had in your life and use the good that you felt through that time to feel good, to do your best to feel good always. And that's what I started doing for myself, to use like a time where I felt very happy in a life experience. I take the happiness from that and just live it. It makes it easier to live, that's for sure. And I'm grateful for it. I know one thing for sure, like grandma always said, to just always be happy like I have been, because one thing's for sure, even if the things that we think are the biggest challenges uh, don't kind of get to us at times, one thing for sure, we always have what it takes to get through them, and to stay happy and stay focused is one way to do it. The main way to do it, the only way to do it. I'm gonna get to,
Indeed,
I'm gonna
indeed.
get to do it from
I got him. He got him. We got him. Come on. Yeah, we good. I got you. You good? Okay.
So I have a series. So with that talk, with everybody knowing what the idea of this is, I have a few questions for him due to his years of experiences, how each one of these things are needed, like the good and the bad side, how one is actually needed, and how too much of both can, too much of one in an area where it's not needed can actually hinder your life in some way or shape or form. Like, you can't always be good to everybody, that's for sure, because people will not always be good to you, no matter how nice or caring you're trying to be to anybody. uh, and you got to be mindful of the way you act towards people, and be mindful of how other people may experience or go through particular things. As long as anybody's not putting you through something first, or is not something that's a direct result of something you conjured up. And when you know that there's a situation or an experience that you conjured up on your own, like you just know it just based upon the vibe that it gives off, it makes it easier for you to be willing to it makes it easier for you to be willing to accept it. For those who don't, definitely have to learn the hard way. And man, I'm telling you, the hard way is very serious surprises. It doesn't hold back on what the hard part is. Because everything it'll attack you at the part where you least expect it, you'll even be affected.
So that's a process of where you have to learn from. I mean, that's where we learn our most from, you know? So,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So you need those questions pulled up. There they are.
Okay, good. So, with the first question on this list, since you already got a good idea on what we're doing with this, how has your negative side, what people will claim is your negative side, how has that assisted you to a more peaceful way of living?
Well, first of all, everybody got their low and high vibrational sides, and I don't necessarily care what nobody feels about my negative side. I really never did because I've always had people around me to hate me when I get there. So I know
Yes.
the energy. So
Yes.
that part, so my negative side has made me more peaceful because I've accepted that I am, maybe different than everybody. I have been always different than most people. So it is what it is. You can tell her that we're on the slide. But it's been, for me, my negative sides assist me in to see the light really because every time I have to deal with darkness is when the light shows up. You know what I'm saying? I say that all the time. It's like we get our brightest and our most our biggest learning experiences are from the dark side. So, as I've grown and expanded my experience of awareness and learning, it's like that's what makes me peaceful, knowing that I'm responsible for all the peace that I get or all the peace that I can have or any of that. I am responsible. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All in creation the whole time. I'm responsible for the whole thing. So I take responsibility so that I can, be responsible. And that's kind of like what gives me peace because I don't really care if people, think I whatever my because everybody is, apt to feel how they want and everybody's going to be in some kind of mood at some point in their life. You know what I'm saying? So that
Yes,
being said, it's like that's my negative side is what has my dark side has what has awakened me to the light. So,
yes, sir.
yeah,
Definitely can't have one without both. You're both of them.
yeah, you got
Instead of
at all times.
Yes,
At all times, yin, like you said, the yin and yang, the as above, so below.
yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So, based upon your life experience, why can't we be all good?
It's not possible. The universe don't allow that. You know what I'm saying? It is yin yang. It's as above, so below. It's God and the devil, so they say. It's just low and high. It's just left and right. It's just cold and hot. It's all the same. On the same. It's just on a different spectrum of the same field of energy. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just that. When you know that something is low or you're feeling bad, you know that the good is coming. You got to feel good. Something is, and the faster you can tap into that and realize, oh man, I'm feeling some kind of way. The faster you can tap into that, the faster you'll become, aligned with, the all good part. Because you come to terms with you're not going to be all good. You're going to have to deal with the darkness. You got to deal with it just like the light. You know how you try to be good all the time? I've explained this to you all so many times. As I've come into my spiritual awakening, as I've come through this lineage of religion and losing things and getting things straight, it was the hardest thing for me to come to terms with. I'm responsible for all of the things that I go through. It's not the fact that I can go to somebody and say that it was on somebody else or somebody else is going to save me from it, because that's not how it goes. And nobody's meant to be good. You know what I'm saying? Like they focus you to, attempt to apply that, but you're meant to be balanced. You're meant to experience your experience. You're meant to be happy in your experience, whatever that is. No judgment. It's not supposed to, it's no effect with somebody judges. It's like only affecting themselves. We're projecting out.
Yes, sir.
We're projecting out. You know what I'm saying? So everything you see, everything you judge, everything that's good is you. Everything that's bad is you. So we can't be all one way. We all have to be variations, and some of us can hold the high vibration longer than others. You know what I'm saying? Some of us dwell in the low vibration more than others, and some of us are safe and happy to be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful I know how to live in both and have peace and balance in both as I've grown.
Yes, sir.
Because that's, to me, that's the key. Being able to,
especially considering you got to be here all the time that you got to be here anyway. You might as well.
Well, yeah, you come to terms with stuff. I mean, it is what it is. What do you do? What do? You
When
come
you're
to
in a,
terms with stuff.
when you're in a situation where there's nothing you can literally do about it, and you just have to just experience it, that's when you come to the realization that, hey,
It is what it is, and you do what you're supposed to.
yes, sir,
That's when
exactly.
you come to that realization, and that realization is the only realization.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? For real.
Yes, sir,
You know.
definitely.
Yeah. So let
As soon as
me
you
get
get
back to
paid.
that for you. No, I got you.
Yes, sir.
I'm just making sure your screens are correct.
Good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Our mistakes are valuable. How do we get people? How do we get people to see that? So considering that, like you said, there are lows and highs. People like to be like live in regret. Like, man, I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have.
Well, for me, I'm gonna share this. Everything that has happened to me that I thought was bad, the worst things that's happened to me have been the best things. They turned out to be the best things. So what I realized over this experience of growth in life, just living throughout this problem, navigating through the experience, it's like you make your own bed. You have to decide and receive and accept, whatever is, because when you make a mistake, it is valuable because you learn from it. You're
Yes,
supposed
sir.
to learn from everything. And it's like I said, the lower you go, the higher you can go. Just
Yes,
like
sir.
the brighter the light, the darker you came from. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's just what I've realized, because the more, like I said, the most difficult things that I programmed to be difficult at that time, they were the things that I realized the reason that shaped me to be the spirit being that I am today, in the sense of being more conscious of what is. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful, and it's not what you can call it. It is mistakes if you want to look at it like that, but it's not mistakes. It's ways of experience, creations that you have to create and experience the outcome of for you to actually get to the next space. And then if you know
Yes,
this
sir.
is if you know that this is a journey that we're on, and we have to do something, yeah, it becomes like more awareness for me to just, okay, tap into how I'm supposed to utilize it, and you get people to see it by you being it. If you want anybody to know that, because you do, just be the action of it. Like,
Yes,
be in
sir.
action. Don't talk about it. Be about it. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? Y'all know about
Yes,
that
sir.
action.
Action
Man.
speaks louder than words.
Yeah, actions speak.
Like,
Words,
yeah,
actions. Words
words.
are words
Words
are
are only
very
so much.
powerful. Words are very powerful when they're directed and everything. They're very powerful when they're just spoken. But the action behind the most powerful word is the creation of the word. It's like it assists the word to extend the power in the action. Because whatever the word is, if you're supporting it, the action you're going to take is going to be supported by the universe.
The action gives the word life, basically.
Indeed, that's a good way to put it. That's a very good way to put it.
Yes, sir.
Indeed, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we technically just answered that question. I just realized that that's a lot to the same one.
Okay.
And like I was saying about
Well, no,
the
yeah,
experience,
this is
at what point must we allow the good and the bad to exist at the same time if
all the
they
time.
popped up?
All the time.
Yeah.
Well, remember I told you something. Remember I told you this. Okay. What I've realized, and this is for anyone listening, and I'm sure anyone who's experienced something can relate. What I've realized, that when you go through things, when like really, really receive the things that you go through, when you go through it and you realize that it is meant for something. Everybody knows that you just don't go through something for nothing. And if you don't know that, you'll figure it out. Like, you're gonna get to an experience where it's gonna become an awakening point, because the chosen ones are here to basically do, some type of action or so-called work. It's not really work in that sense, but it's a responsibility that we have as creation, the responsibility of us ourselves as creation. And that is responsibility of all of us. We got a response, and it's separate, it's different. It's what they say, it's the same but different. Like, you got collectively and individually, we got the same things to be responsible for collectively and individually. We just got different levels that we have to play, or we have to be on while we're doing it, because you're here to
Yes.
influence action by your action. You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? If you act and ask, then you're going to influence act, and that's what's going to be your supporters. And you're not going to get no strong support from people who act. Like, that's just an
No, sir.
energy field that does not support, for a long period of time. those
Yes,
jump
sir.
off fast. As soon as the shit hit the fan, they out of there. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes, sir.
you know, when you come with the, you know, honesty and clarity, you're more likely, you know, gonna get some supporters that'll ride with you. They'll ride with you even when you got flat tires. They'll be like, look, let's figure it out. You dig what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
that's a process inside of itself.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Go up some. You got it. Oh, you got the mouse over there.
oh,
There you go.
thank you. When do you feel it's necessary to show the person your yang side?
When they bring that energy, because the universe is a projection, you got to match that energy. But at the same time, you got to realize that you're projecting energy.
Yes, sir.
So if somebody shows you that, that's you showing you. So you got to really be mindful and strategic how you respond or how you deal with it.
Yes, sir.
Because if you respond in the way, okay, so it's a cooperative component, but we project, okay, just like you projected, I projected them, they projected me. Our experiences are the same but different. Like I said about that collective and individual,
Yes, sir.
same thing. But if they show up in your experience, it's because that's the part of you that you need to, you know, get to communicate with. And on the level that you get to see it is like what you get to see, how you are. If it's
Yes, sir.
somebody you just hate, that's you. That's the part of you really hate the most. And you're probably the most like that. That's probably
Yes,
why
sir.
you don't like to see it. You can't see it in yourself. You can only see it on a person that you think probably does it better than you. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yes,
even
sir.
something like that, or even for whatever reason you think that. I have never been the type to, you know, my mom, thank you, Mom, for giving me the insight that I am me and I can do whatever I set my mind to. It don't have nothing to do with nobody else. That's I can do whatever I set my mind to.
Yes, sir.
So it don't have nothing to do with you telling me or assisting me whatever I set my mind to. I don't need your help for that.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir.
And you don't need my help for that. Because
Yes, sir.
we came here, you know, in divine. It's nothing out of line, man. We right where we're supposed to be. We just have to, you know, do what we're supposed to do. But you just be in the present now, and you're gonna always show people the reflection of themselves because you're gonna match that energy. And if it's
Yes,
low
sir.
vibrational, you gotta think about this too. This is just something that downloaded to you. When you are really somebody bring that bullshit to you, you know what I'm saying? When you know that it's as above, so below, and you know that you got the power to crush something, when you reverse that polarity to a high vibrational, and it's you got to go down there to get them up now. You can't just be like, come on, man, that ain't gonna work.
Yes,
I
sir.
realize when I get, because it's about that business. If you really bought it, then we're gonna have to deal with. We're gonna have to deal with it.
Yes, sir.
So if you're talking, if you really bought that life, then you're gonna respond like that. But when we get to the point where I touch into that part, and you see that it's a sincere love thing, because my communications, I'm not talking to you about, you know, fussing back and forth about a situation. I'm responding to you as like you came to me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm gonna have to be in my present now and how it is. Like it is what it is at that time. I have no control over that.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
give me just a second, Barbara. We're on this live. I'll call you right back. Okay, thank you. Yeah, but this whole thing is a process. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. This whole thing is a process. It's like, you know, but once you know what you know, you know what you know. That's
Yes,
it.
yes,
Ain't
sir.
nothing else.
No, sir,
Ain't
not at
nothing
all.
else. There is nothing else. Not for me. In my 57 years, I figured I know what I know, and that's all I need to know. And what I know is that all is well.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Indeed.
Now, when embracing both the good and the bad of life, what valuable lesson do you realize came from it?
Well, okay, so back to when you realize that things happen for you, not to you, and come into terms of being responsible for you as creation. Because I say this, you as an individual, as a person, as a spirit, as a human, as a whatever you want to call yourself, have to be responsible for you as the creation that you are. Like you decided to have this experience. Prior to coming to this experience, you were one with Source. As a love responsibility, as a love opportunity from Source, allowed us to come into this being and do whatever the hell we want, whenever we want, with no judgment from whence we came. But that's not the narrative. That's not what you taught or given when you get here, because they run a whole different, process on you when you pop up in here. You pop up in here, it's a whole different separation from your spirit and your body in the sense of the system, and then you have to be outcasted as a spirit that is being controlled and directed by um, a vibrational realm that has no clue. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
They have a clue, but their clue is for a different agenda than source. You know what I'm saying? Source is love. Source allows you to do, but it's no judgment. They get to do that. You can come here and harness whatever energy you want. It's just that what you want to do in this experience and how you want to feel about it as you see, your destruction or your building process. Like it is, it's no judgment. It's no judgment. It doesn't matter who feels what about what, because source don't have that kind of judgment. You see the wrath of God. The wrath of God is you. Whatever you do, you get in the response. You get in the responses of what you do. Like that's what I know from my own experience, and I got some real experiences. I'm I'm branded certified. I don't have to prove shit. You know what I'm saying? It's already I already know. And I as my process of growth in this spirit realm, it's been confirmed that all we have to do is really come to the terms. We came here to really get to the fact of what love really means. It means somebody gonna get hurt, somebody gonna be happy, somebody gonna get unalived, somebody gonna bring life. Somebody gonna say, I did this because of this. I said I did this, and it's all done in the name of love. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes,
but
sir.
it's when you overstand it from a broader perspective, it seems to me that the realm of clarity and freedom, no judgment, you can do what you want, but they have a system in place that'll punish you for it. You know what I'm saying, and all that type of stuff. So the objective to me is to just to realize that we the ones creating our own experience. You take responsibility for it. You have no issues when you do.
Yes, sir.
You have issues only when you continue to, float the boat with the hole in it and keep taking the bucket trying to get the water out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Like seriously, should go ahead and just sink. You know what I'm saying? When you come back, you'll be woke because you have to go. You don't have to transition to a different space
Yes,
of,
sir.
of process. That's a whole like different thing. We got to do. We got to do to, you know, just be the example of responsibility for yourself. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes,
Show
sir.
love to yourself. That's you. Every time you see somebody outside of you, I'm grateful that y'all more so like that than not. I'm grateful that it's instilled in our bloodline that we are loving people over everything.
I'm grateful for that.
I
I'm
am too.
definitely grateful for that, considering a lot of the experiences we definitely had.
Yeah, because it could be a whole different thing. I could have raised a bunch of, online killers, like straight up, where it just would be, I know it's a process, man. I'm just grateful that the source gave me any kind of awareness to awaken so that I could have my seeds, my most important responsibility here is to you all to make
Yes, sir.
sure at least I do the best that I can to be aware, be conscious, be focused as best and balanced because I know you'll get knocked the hell out of balance and you'll be in a whole different space. And then we came in the strongest space. No disrespect to anybody else, but we came melanated so we could experience this thing from the lowest vibration because we came in the highest vibration of field of energy.
Yes, sir.
You feel me? So that's just what it
Definitely.
is. I understand it, I overstand it, and I am grateful. I am grateful that I know that I can forgive myself, and I have forgiven myself for all the times that I blame myself for the bullshit that I thought was because of this whole situation, when it wasn't necessarily me as much as it was the influence to me as a being, a unconscious being. When you become awakened, you realize that the I am is the only thing that is, and you don't have those same issues. You just don't wake up with the same thing. I got, hey, you just don't wake up with the same thing. It just does not happen the same. Things look the same. The universe shifts and does things that you would never imagine. You're expecting, or you're wanting something. You don't get what you want. You get what you are, what you line up to.
Yes,
That's it. You don't get to scream, "No, I won't." See, that's a whole different thing. That desire thing. I even graduate. Well, I'm gonna say I'm still in the process of knowing what the word desire, the energy is attached to people and how they want to, process it. But the
yes,
desire to me is the biggest want. And you don't want anything when you become the I am. You just focus on the knowing that all is well. And whatever space you're supposed to be in, you're gonna be there when you're in the present now. Because we're
yes,
not in no time frame. That's done. It's a wrap. That time thing, you can call it what you want, but it's and I respect the fact because people still doing what they're doing, and you can line up to say whatever, whatever. But at the same time, when you become awakened, and all the chosen ones know exactly what I'm saying, you don't time. It has no value. Only thing has value is your balance in the present now and the space that you hold and the space that you share when you're in that. That's all.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes, sir, definitely.
Hmm. So I
That's
see that was your question. So man,
Mhm.
I'm grateful that we can pull up and just answer. You could ask some questions, but bring them, because I want them to get deeper and deeper. Because whatever you share, whatever you know consider that should be shared, we got to do it. And I'm
Yes,
grateful that you decided in your vibrational realm, in your age bracket, to be one to bring me up on and want to do any casting with me and ask me questions about stuff and just to share. Some people are gonna receive this so strong. Some people are gonna be like, they whatever.
yes,
Because when we show up, it's unconditional, unlimited, and unapologetic love. I forgive. I have gratitude that I can forgive, and I'm not holding no grudges and tripping about that because I can forget about you and be straight. Like I realize my process of forgiveness is forgetting. It used to be like I forgive you, but I ain't gonna forget. Well, I never did forget. That was one of the things that got confirmed in my experience big time lately. You know what I'm saying?
if you didn't forget, you didn't
Yeah.
forgive. I
As
saw
soon as I
that.
yeah, as soon as I forgive, I'm forgetting because I don't have no. I know my vibration is to remember and be more turned up with the energy when I remember because I feel like you got away with something. You feel
That's
what
a
I'm
good way of
saying?
putting it.
I
That's
mean, that's the
exactly
way
how
I
I feel.
feel. I mean,
Me
that's the
too.
honest way I feel. So I'm not gonna lie about it. And I don't feel like nobody should get away with shit if they do something that they shouldn't. And I'm not
Yes,
saying I should be the enforcer of law, but when you're playing with me, that's what I feel. And I
yes,
know I bet you, as majority of people feel like that, even if they soft spoken.
yes, sir.
Nobody want nobody playing with them. Nobody,
Definitely not.
we're not playing. Nobody playing. This is not a play time.
No,
Nobody
sir.
got no play going on. Play,
You're right. Like
yeah.
people be holding smiles in their faces for whatever reason they decide to. But I'm sure you don't want to try and mess with a smiling person.
Well, you know what? Most of them, yeah, I feel that. I ain't gonna put none on that because I feel that. I feel that just based upon me being me. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So love is love. I appreciate it. Thank you again for having us. Whoever tunes in and listens and sees, please, we appreciate the support. We appreciate sharing. The information is straight genuine, and he just come to me out the blue like with the questions. I don't have no look over. You see, we going over here, he even reading them like so. It's gonna be authentic like that, and we're gonna still be off the hip because we got a lot of experiences that we have not decided to share, but I know that we have to.
Yes,
And,
sir.
those experiences are the ones that have to be shared because those are the ones that have impacted the growth in some areas the most.
Yes, sir.
You
Definitely.
know what I'm saying? I think it will be very important. I know it's important and it will be very good for you especially and your siblings to speak on the relationship between you and the elders. Because I'm so grateful that you had time with my mom and could understand why I am some of the ways that I am, even the ways that I was not necessarily, like likable in. You can
I
see me in
definitely.
surface. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yes, sir.
That's
Definitely.
important. That's important, and I'm just grateful because your children need to know who you are and they need to see where you came from, and if that can be arranged, even if they, you know, even if they off the chain, even if they, whatever they got going on, let your children let them be the deciding factor as to how they see. Don't be like your uncle crazy, your cousin crazy, your this, your that. Well, you don't have no uncles. I ain't got no uncles. If it's an uncle, they came in the family from the spirit side of things because it is what it is.
Yes, sir.
You got aunties because from your mother's side. You know what I mean? So,
Yes, sir.
but what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? They don't show up like, in an authentic way, or they don't show up like they are part of the family, then
What's
they're
the
just
point?
relatives.
Yeah, they're just relatives.
Yeah, family is God sent. I mean, family is summoned by source, and we chose that family prior to coming. We chose relatives too. And it's interesting because a lot of us chose relatives so that we can find family.
Yes,
Relatives,
definitely.
we chose the relatives to be so-called family so we could really find real family. Because just because the blood flow the same, when you came from my grandmama's, we got same your mama, my mama, that don't mean shit. Like my mama, my daddy, that don't mean nothing.
No,
I see that because it's like
it's definitely the other half.
yeah, because I'm an only child, so that's easy for me to see. Especially with
Yeah.
my, with the ones that I loved and have loved for all my life and how, we maneuver through. So no slick shit. I'm real. It
Yes,
is what it
sir.
is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
So,
life.
well, thank you all. Thank you for showing, being, considering. Our intention is to raise the vibration in whatever way we can, whatever conversations it's going to be real and true. Just ask me questions from the heart to make them, make us be able to be, relatable. Because it's going to be what it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, again, thank you.
You're always more than welcome. I love you.
Love you too. My man. Thank
I
you, man.
appreciate you.
All right, let's go.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you again, y'all. Peace, love, prosperity. All right. Go ahead, edit.